Hey, I just went bought a watch with a whole lot of diamonds to show all these niggas it's my time. Took a trip out to Cali to hang with the clips, make a play and get high off that Zaza. I say R.I.P. Kobe, a nigga so fly when I ball out, fuck around skydive. So much chicken on me, could've went by the Williams, the Rudies, a big ass Popeye. In a whole different bracket, this life is immaculate. If you hit me for bows, then you know that I'm taxing. Keep buying clothes, that shit still in the packages. If he say that he robbed me, he capping me. Really no niggas throw sevens like Kaepernick. You not blind and you see that we have it. Known in my city, so no I'm not average. Came a long way from dope in the can. Niggas know that I step in the game that I rep. Went to Solomon, I out the 10 for 600 on.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Top Bins. I am Luigi, your host. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a happy holidays. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a happy New Year. My Christmas was a little quiet. I didn't have my kids this year, so it was a little quiet. Didn't really do much. It was kind of hot here in Houston, so we went out to Galveston for a little while. But I did have my kids for New Year's. We didn't do anything because all they wanted to do was wait with anticipation for the new Stranger Things episode. So New Year's, we spent it at home. Went to go buy some like knickknacks for the show. And then the final episode of Stranger Things came out. And just to say, man, the season 5 for Stranger Things was such a letdown. I mean, such a letdown. It only took 5 minutes to kill Vecna. Like that was it. That's as best as that we could draw it up. I wasn't a big fan. So I don't know about y'all. Y'all can tell me in the comments. I think they could have done a little bit more with the ending. And then over there, Miss Nancy looking like Rambo and stuff, you know, like just never dying, never get shot, never dying. I don't know what's going on. My heart did kind of fall out of my chest whenever Steve almost fell off the cliff or the little tower. I was just like, no, not Steve. Out of everybody, please, not Steve. But that was the only time. Other than that, it was anticlimactic, season 5 and the ending of Stranger Things. So that's my tidbit on regular life. Let's get back to football life. So we had our ID camp. It was a great turnout. Players, got to talk to a lot of players, got to talk to a lot of parents about the upcoming trip to London. And I think we've officially got about 10 players on board to come out to do their trials and training in London. And I'm very excited for these players. It's obviously boys and girls that are coming out. It's going to be a grueling 3 months of training, as it always is. The 3 months is very hard, especially for these players because they're high school age players. And we all know right now we have high school season going on. There's still some club practices. There's going to be like club tournaments, some random club games. So it's going to be a lot. And they're still required to come do training here with me, and players are going to be exhausted. They're going to be tired, but it's going to be all worth it once we get over there. So I did reiterate to these players, like, we got to make sure we take care of our bodies the next 3 months. You know, we sleep right, we eat right, we recover properly, so that way we can have tons and tons of success as we had the last couple times that we've gone to London. And then there's possibly an opportunity to go to Costa Rica, which I'm really excited about that one. Costa Rica, that sounds really nice. So we'll see. We'll see how talks go. We'll see how conversations go with different trainers and different coaches and different clubs to see where is exactly that we go to next. But I love this opportunity for players because these players are young, they're hungry for an opportunity, and they'll get to see what it's like to travel as professional footballers or footballers that are trying to become professional or semi-professional footballers. You've got to go through a grind also. Like, everybody wants the fantasy story of like, oh, this club came a-knocking and, you know, they signed me to this big contract, and that's just not everybody's story. You know, it's a lot of grind, a lot of grit. And so, but the players will, I think it's a humbling experience. I think it's an awesome experience the way we do things whenever we do our trips. And these players want to get better, and they want to create avenues for themselves to hopefully play at a higher level. So that's the whole purpose with the London trip, and these guys and these ladies are going to be working very, very, very hard. And with that, football it's a tough sport, because it's obviously worldwide. It's not like here, just even in the U.S., where basketball's starting to get there, right? Where it's like worldwide and it's starting to get pick up a lot. But this is like the official sport of the world, right? So there's so many players trying to make it to the next level. And unfortunately, I think the way we do things in the United States, and I think a lot of people can agree, is not done correctly. I don't know for some reason why we haven't fixed our way of doing things and getting players opportunities, or getting them overseas, or just having them play at a much higher level. I know like everything's money based in the United States, so it's like a business first and then opportunities. And so I say that because we have to be careful with the opportunities that we take, because there are a lot of scammers out there, and they'll promise you all kinds of stuff and tell you that they'll take you to these places and these trials. And then, it's happened to me firsthand. I know some other people that it's happened to firsthand. So they'll promise you all kinds of stuff and all kinds of opportunities, and who called them and who's looking for you, and or what they can promise you. And just every conversation is different, and I think you have to know exactly who you're talking about, who you're talking to, and know their credentials to really know if they're serious about what they're saying. Because a lot of them want you to pay thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and there's just no results behind it. They just ship you off, and it's just like, oh, well, you're over there, good luck. No guidance, or sometimes you never even hear back from them. I can't even tell you how many players have gone to places and they arrive and there's nobody there waiting for them. There's nobody at the airport. There's nobody to take them to their destination, and they've already paid all kinds of money to get over there. So really be careful about your opportunities and who you speak to as you grow your career as a footballer, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people that take advantage of young kids. And so we don't want to see that. We want to make sure that players get the right opportunity, are in front of the correct people, so that way they get the best opportunity possible. No more of these scams and stuff. And so once you make it, even though you're going through this grueling process and you're trying to get there to become a pro athlete and everything, I mean, even when you end up going pro, man, there's still so many struggles. There's still so many things that you have to go through. Yeah, you've made it. Yes, you have your contract, but it's like you still have to stay on your P's and Q's. Miss Lakin, cross your T's and dot your I's, because there's always somebody behind you waiting to take the opportunity of you not feeling well and can't make it to training, or you get injured during a game. And it's just like there's constant pressure, constant struggle. There's the opportunity seems like it just never ending. Like, oh my God, I feel like I have to perform every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day. And yes, and I have to show up every single day. And yes, you have to show up every single day and perform every single day and be the best teammate. Don't be a crappy teammate. Even though y'all are playing for a contract, I mean, you still have to make sure that there's a fine line of being a bad and a good teammate. And so even when you make it, there's still struggles. And recently I was watching a podcast interview with Kevin Prince Boatang. And it was on a show called at Undescripted the show. In the description below for this episode, I'm going to put the link for that interview. I think the interview is amazing. For anybody that wants to be a footballer, I think has to go watch Boateng's interview, because he talks about how he started off as a youth player and then going through the ranks and going up, becoming the pro footballer that he is, and then post pro footballer, and what he's doing now. I think it's an amazing interview, and he has an amazing story. And he talks about the struggles, like for example, whenever he was young and trying to make it, him being black, or it was a mix of German and black. And so where he grew up, obviously in Germany, he was having a hard time with even just racial slurs when he was so young and having to deal with that. And, so he talks about how some coaches would like put his arm around him and be like, man, it's okay, don't listen to it. And he talks about how, like, of course I'm going to listen to it. Like, you don't know what it's like being called all these racial slurs and having to perform. And so he talks about that, which I think hits home for a lot of players, and why, the racism starts early, and then you see the racism in high levels of football, right? In the Premier League, La Liga in France, Ligue 1. So it just, the racism is still there. And he does say, like, sometimes he feels like these people just say those things just to get under your skin because you're playing against their team, which doesn't make it right. There's different stuff that can be said. But he says how that's a huge struggle, and he talks about one of his experience about how he had to walk off the field and they didn't go back to playing, and then how FIFA called him and wanted to talk to him about the situation. And he sat down with them and talked to them about some ways on how they can end racism or do different things. And, while the subject is fresh, they will listen and pay attention. And then he talks about how, okay, they took all this suggestion, all this advice from Kevin, and then all of a sudden just nothing gets done because it ends up being a business, and football is a business, and they got to make money. And so how do they make that fine line of, like, no racism but still make money? And yes, football is still entertainment, FIFA is still entertainment, and so they still have to figure out a way to do things and make their money. It's not right, but that's basically their decisions around it. He talks a little bit about how his international play and why he chose to play for Ghana, while, if his brother decided to play for Germany. And so why he believes he didn't make the Germany team, and what was the difference between him and his brother. And he ended up playing for Ghana, and then how he had to face them in the World Cup, and how he took so much backlash from the Germans, from the German national team and their fans, and how he didn't fit in with the Germany style. He took a lot of backlash because in one of the training session in a game with Michael Ballack, Michael Ballack ended up fouling him. They didn't call it. He went back in and hit him, and they ended up calling the foul on Boatang, and the confrontation that he had with Michael Ballack and everything that he went through. And so the German fans ended up hating him and telling him really horrible things. And because of that situation, he even kind of like lost contact or didn't really speak much to his brother after that, because his brother didn't stick up for him. And so with that, you just got to know, when you become a footballer, man, there's so many things that you go through. There's so many battles off the pitch, on the pitch. And so this is where, like, your mentors come in, I believe. If someone that you can really lean on as a mentor, coaches. Some players go to therapy because you're in the public eye and you're expected to perform at a high level all the time. And, you're not allowed to have outside noise affect your performance on the field, even though it's going to affect your performance on the field. And it happens at all levels, from youth soccer all the way up to pro soccer. And so we have to have that outlet. You have to have that outlet. You got to have a coach or a mentor that you can turn to and really just sit down and talk through things, or like I said, like a therapist or someone that's played sports, where they can just kind of be there for you and talk to you and help you through situations, because we all go through them, unfortunately. And nothing changes. Just because you become a pro doesn't mean things get easier. If anything, things get harder. Much, much harder. So as much as the game is physical and you have to be technical, you have to be fit, the mental part of the game is huge, 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 huge. I can't tell you how many players that I've ran into where I think they were extremely good footballers, and they could do tons of stuff on the ball and off the ball. And they were just so weak mentally. Like they couldn't get past the criticism. They couldn't get past the um, the grueling schedule of what you had to do. And there's other things, and players try to do a lot outside of football instead of just focusing on football. Whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're trying to balance that life plus the football life, and there are situations with parents and family, and they have to balance that plus football, and so it's hard, but it's rewarding at the same time. So I like I said, just go watch Kevin Boateng's interview. It's you'll learn a lot. It's an amazing interview there. And so for the next topic, I don't know what's happening in the world of football either right now when it comes to coaching. Like I'm currently coaching at a high school, and so I've coached in the past U19 boys and a semi-pro team, and I've always wanted to coach professionally. Hopefully one day I get to coach college, and then from college go to pros, or however my path ends up. But I've always said I wanted to coach professionally. And I don't know what the heck is happening with these pro clubs, what their expectations of coaches are. And I think what I'm referring to is how the coaching circle is like so quick to change coaches, We're just going over and over and over on coaches. Like Xabi Alonso just stopped being the coach for Real Madrid. I mean, his tenure was nothing. I don't know what's going on. And then Enzo got released from Chelsea, or like a mutual of parting ways. And Amarin left Man U. And then Xavi Hernandez with Barcelona. Like I just don't get it. Like we're supposed to be giving these managers, coaches like time. Like they need time to develop. They got to buy their players, whether they're young and have some old heads and some young heads, and just kind of blend them together, get their ideology across these players, especially in the pro ranks, because I mean, these players, yes, they know how, they're professionals and they should know how, but you've got to earn players' trust, and they're so quick to just like, let's get rid of them. And yes, I understand that it's a success business and like result based business, and you got to get results. But I mean, like Enzo won 2 cups. I believe Amarin won 2 cups. Xavi had finally brought a cup back to Barcelona, and like these coaches are just getting, like turned over. Like I understand if they're not winning anything, but I mean, even look at Arsenal and how they have kept Arteta around for years, and it isn't like he's won tons and tons of cups, but he's always in the mix. Right. And so I think 18 months is nothing. Like, okay, Chelsea just signed their new coach. I think it's like 2030 something. And I mean, yeah, you can sign for that long, but it doesn't mean they're going to keep you around that long. And so I think that just shows weakness in the organizations. And even though I'm a big Chelsea fan, I think that just shows tons and tons of weakness where you're just flip-flopping managers like that. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. And so seeing that and seeing the credentials that those coaches have and everything, that the coaching tree that they come from, and then just to be overturned so quickly, it's like, I don't know if I really want to go that coaching route, right? But then you have coaches that don't produce results, and they seem to get jobs all the time. Ridiculous. Like Pochettino and Graham Potter and like Eric Ten Hag, like who are, like, how are they keep getting jobs and they don't get any results? None. And they just keep getting opportunities plus opportunities plus opportunities. And so I don't know. I think that strong organizations stick with their coaches very much long term. It has to be a long-term process, man. You can't be so quick. And they can't be, from what I've heard in the grapevines, like some of these organizations want the coaches to only play certain players. They want them to have certain players in, whether it's on the starting lineup or in the rotation. And it kind of makes sense if that's what's happening, because when I've watched some of these games that Enzo has managed, and he's making some of these substitutions, I'm just kind of like, why are we making these substitutions? And why is this player continuously to start when they haven't shown any results? Like, I don't get it. For example, like Garnacho, my God, that guy is horrible. Like, you cannot play that guy. Like, if you're gonna play him, you got to keep him as far away as possible from your goal. Just, I don't give a shit. You're offside. Just go to the other side of the field. Like, don't even come near my goal, because you're just gonna give up goals. And so, watching situations like that of why Esteval is not starting and Garnacho is, and these weird like rotations, like it almost hits like, oh, it's the 70th mark, it's time to switch out the wingers. Like, what's happening, or making them sign these attacking players and wondering why we're not signing defensive players. It looks like the ownership is getting in the way, or the management is getting in the way, and just telling them to do things like this. And some of the reason is, well, we get these young players on the field and give them some time, so that way we can sell them or loan them out. And I'm like, well, give them time in like the Caribou Cup, the FA Cup, where the competition isn't that high. Like, we should be having our strong squads all the time when there are games that matter. Like, for example, the Premier League games, those games should matter. So we need to keep our strong squad out there. And then for obviously the UEFA Cup, like, we got to keep our strong team out there, give them rests, and time management with them, with our best players whenever it's the other cups, like like I said, the Caribou Cup, the FA Cup, or in La Liga, it's like the Super Cup, Supercopa, Copa del Rey, things like that. But for the top tournaments, those are the ones that we have to keep our strong players. It's not this experiment crap. We can't do that. And I just hope the coaching changes. I hope that it's the ownership and the organizations just start realizing that what they're doing is fatal, it's wrong, it's horrible, it's terrible, and there'll never be any consistency. So that's my little rant about coaching, and how I think even at this, like at the level that I'm coaching at right now, is just high school. Like, I believe the high school should not be a year-to-year type thing. Like, it should be a few years. Like, hey, we want you to come in, we want you to be here for a few years, try to incorporate a way of playing, like, and organize this and a style of play, and kind of create a what's the word I'm looking for? Create a level of play and expectations for players that are coming in, whether it's from the middle school to the high school, and then from like some younger teams to the top team. It's like they have to know what kind of football you expect out of them. And so this year-to-year stuff just doesn't work. It's never going to work. And we're doing a disservice to all the players, youth to pro. It's such a disservice. So hopefully things change. That's what I have for you today. Thanks for coming on. Remember, we please subscribe to our channel and like our page. And we have, if you've already subscribed, in our community page, I've put down like a little description. Like, let me know where you're watching from. Tell us if you're a player or a coach, what positions you've played. Please interact with us. I would love to hear more from our fans and our subscribers. Don't forget, we have Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And so reach out if you have any questions, comment on our stuff, and I would love to hear back from you guys. Like I said, I hope y'all had a great holidays, and we'll see you next time.